Okay? So those are the two basic types of mics, dynamic and then this condenser type microphone. So the next part of the sound system is, after you get your inputs, is a mixer. Everything goes into a mixer to be put together. One of the things, the second thing I should tell you, after getting a mic closer to people, is the less microphones you can use to get the job done, the more gain or volume you're going to get before feedback. The more mics you turn on, the more chance of feedback. Feedback will happen at an earlier time. So, if you're singing a song and there's only 2 people singing, turn off the other 3 mics. Not here on the switch, do it on the board. That's why we have these nifty on switches, so you can turn them off. Or, if you have 2 people that sing really close together, they can sing on the same mic and do a better job than having 2 microphones. One other thing I should tell you about handheld mics, there's a reason why there's a handle on microphones. Some of you guys have seen the rappers hold the microphone like this, and then they get up on it. Microphones have pickup patterns. Let me explain what I mean. They pick up really well from this way, but they don't pick up so well from back here. See what I mean? When I come back around on it, it really picks up well here. This is perfect because I can stand right in front of a monitor, no feedback. So that pattern control really helps me out. One way to get rid of that pattern control is to put my wrapped hand around it and then do like this. See, the volume really doesn't change much because I've affected the way the mic works. So have your handheld folks use the handle on the microphone. That's why it's as long as it is. So if you see the guys on TV doing this, it's cute, but it's not proper for what we're trying to do. So there's 2 kinds of pickups on microphones. Kind we care about, this one here, which is one directional. It picks up from here. If we were going to record, and I wanted to record everybody in here singing, I'd want everybody's voice to come into the microphone. So I'd want a mic that picked up everything, right? But I'm not. I'm doing live sound. I only want to amplify my voice. I don't want to hear the keyboard amp over there. I don't want to hear the drums behind me coming through this mic. I want to hear just me talking. That's why we want this single direction microphone. Okay? So that's the reason why you look for a unidirectional or cardioid, which means heart-shaped pattern microphone. Any microphone for recording probably can pick up everything from around it equally. It'd be perfect for putting in a room with a nice piano to record a wonderful sound. But we're not recording here. We're trying to get sound out to you guys. That's the reason why there's so many different types of mics and why recording mics are different. And you need to wear 2 different hats. If somebody's telling you, we want to record tonight, well, that automatically is going to make your job really tough. Because you got to think about all the people that are in your band. First off, anybody who's not got a mic isn't going to get heard. Normally, your drummer may be loud enough without mics. Maybe you don't even use a mic for him, or maybe just for his kick drum. You know what I mean? Then when you play back that recording, it's like there's no drummer there at all. A recording guy is thinking, how can I pick up the whole room? Us live sound people are thinking, how can I isolate these things and get the best sound from me to you? So those are the 2 different hats you'd have to wear when you're thinking about doing live sound. Not that you can't record it, but you have to plan to record. It means putting everybody with a microphone. So the next thing I want to tell you is that a microphone changes the acoustic energy into electrical energy. But it's such a small signal. It's so tiny that it picks up lots of interference. Have you all heard telephones and interference inside PA systems and stuff like that? You'll know what I mean. At any rate, most microphones that you're going to want to use a 3-conductor cable like this. They don't use that guitar cable. And the nice thing about that is it locks on there. It isn't going to come off. And it won't come unplugged during the show. But you wonder what's inside that little wire. I got some samples here of different cables so you could see what's actually inside of a microphone cable. You can just pass that around. We cut one open so you can see inside it. The little wires are tiny in these things. And this is a first part of the seminar that doesn't have to do with buying gear. It has to do with you guys doing your homework properly. Have some extra cables. Cables go bad. Okay? And if you have a bad cable, take a snip and cut the end of it off. The reason is somebody's going to help you by wrapping up your cable and putting it back in the pile for you to find next gig so that it'll be bad again. So if you've got bad wires, get rid of them, but carry a spare or two. These aren't that expensive, and you should have a couple. And if they get moved around and kicked and stepped on and played with, like we all do, they'll eventually wear out. Have I harped enough on the musicians yet? Because that's all they do is break wires and use the wrong mics. But no, I'm kidding. There's two kinds of, the reason for the 3-conductor plug, like we were saying on the microphone, is it's a balance connector. All you really need to understand about this is it rejects noise really well. If you had an ambulance go by and they're using their radio in the ambulance or a police car, it wouldn't leak into this wire like it would if it was a guitar cable. If you have microphones with this type of plug on them, leave them at home for the kids to play with. They're great for karaoke, but they're not for us. Okay? These wires, I wanted you to see, let me pass those around. These are the wires that are used for synthesizers and for other devices that are higher level than our microphones. The reason I wanted you to notice is how small those little cables are inside those wires, because when I'm talking to you about safety and the sound system, I want you to understand that these are the things that are keeping you from possibly getting shot. So you want your cables to be decent. Now I don't want you to go out and spend a fortune on them, but if there's bad ones or cheap old cables, throw them away. So I'm going to show you how to set up a sound system the proper way, whether you've got a Yamaha or a Mackie or whose ever board you have. Do most of you have Yamaha mixers or Mackie mixers? Who has what? Yamahas? Mackies?
Mackie.
Cool, okay, well, this goes for either brand. So if you have other questions afterwards, we can always go through, your specific mixer. But we'll cover everybody's mixer. So a sound system has these parts. We were talking about the microphone, and then it goes into a mixer. Well, the mixer's job is to combine all these things into a usable signal to make it out to our PA. So the first thing we do is we put our inputs into the mixer. Now you'll notice we're not going to make any noise. I'm going to show you how to do this with the lights that are on the mixer. You have all these at home on your own mixer. This is the way you should do it properly. I'm also going to let you in on some tricks that the musicians aren't going to tell you about. Sorry. So, most all mixers, if you can see this, have a control at the very top called gain or trim. This is the very first thing that the signal needs to pass through. I have all this in a paper form. I'll give you some handouts here in just a minute. This gain control allows that you put in a very low level thing, like a microphone, or a very high level thing, like a synthesizer, all through the same input. But by setting this properly, you'll never have to worry about the hissing or humming of your PA system.